I just pushed it. Like,
okay.
Before, like, yeah, you're good.
Okay. Why do we start out cracking up every single time?
I thought you were ready until you started talking. I'm like, oh, sorry.
All right, am I in? Good morning.
Good morning. Okay.
Doesn't feel too cold. I don't. What is going on?
So something about the sun shining.
Oh.
Like it's snowing like crazy, but the sun is shining. Morning, Kia.
Good morning. Happy Saturday. Ew. What's happening to us?
Ew. Oh, you gotta move this.
Oh, no. Can you do it?
I don't know.
That'll work. And then
Except for this thingy is dangling like right in my face.
Is that good? Okay.
It'll work.
It'll work.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Saturday. Welcome to the drive. That sounded like I had a lot of energy, didn't it?
You did.
And I don't necessarily.
Oh,
because
just
why?
Cut the music off. I just like cut it. Okay, that's it. That's enough.
It. No more. Why do I not have a lot of energy?
Because the Listener Appreciation Night event was awesome.
So much fun.
Thank you, Scott.
Yes.
Scott of 330 to Go held a listener appreciation last night at, I don't know, is it Barmacy?
Barmacy, yeah.
At Barmacy in Highland Square yesterday. And it rocked.
So much fun.
It was. They had live music. It was fun. We'll have to do that again. So, Kat is feeling the toils. Is it toils?
I'm not sure, but I'll just say effects.
There you go. I wanted to use a fancy word. And I want to say effects. Kat is feeling the effects of our shenanigans.
Our shenanigans.
Of last night.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Kat.
And I'm Brenda.
This is The Drive.
This is.
So, we weren't on last week, and we had kind of an eventful week this week.
It was a lot of stuff did happen this week.
Yeah, so we were on last week because, and thank you so much, who was it that
gave us shares? What do you mean shares?
No. Somebody gave us the idea to run the episode, a watch party.
Oh, I can't remember, but thank you, whoever you were. It was somebody we talked to pretty regularly, too. I just can't remember which person it was.
Yeah, okay. So anyway, well, maybe it'll come up.
Right.
We did the watch party last week, which I've never done before. That was kind of cool.
And there were a lot of people who watched.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Thanks everybody who watched. We had a lot of shares on that. So everyone who shared, thanks for sharing the drive.
Yeah. And the reason we weren't here, my son had a wrestling tournament and he got second in the city, which was super
which
cool.
was awesome.
Yeah, because he played on the basketball team and then that ended. And he's like, I wonder if I could wrestle. Because their season is still going. Right? He wrestled last year. Mm-hmm. He really liked it. I think he's going to continue with wrestling. But I'm glad he tried the basketball thing. He didn't make it his 7th grade year. Tried out again in 8th grade and did make it. Which I thought was pretty cool. Because I think I would have been like, guess I'm not good. Never mind.
I think he just wanted to prove to himself that he could do it.
Probably.
He's very much that type of kid. So I think he's like, I can do this. I want to do it. And he stuck to it. He didn't just do it and throw it away. Like, okay, I'm in and I don't like it. No, he did a good job.
Oh, he supported his team. I mean, he wasn't a starter or anything like that, but he was so supportive. In their championship, they won the championship, and one of the star players was kept getting cramps. Mm-hmm. And at one point, I looked over, and Trevor was on the sideline, like rubbing his leg to help him get the cramp out. Aww. And I was like, oh my gosh.
I am a good kid.
Yeah, it was really. I think the coach probably told him to do it, but
Can you do this really quick so I can get to that? I'm gonna be able to look at the comments. And I wasn't here because I had a leadership and development training with torchbearers, which was awesome. Really great training program they have. So I had a training session that day. Yeah.
And then we spent Sunday finishing up our talk for Tuesday.
Yes.
For Picha Kucha. Brenda was a double dipper.
I was a double dip.
Rocked the house.
I'm a comedian, y'all. Let me tell y'all, I miss my calling. I'm a comedian. Like, I'm about to figure out, what I need to do. Like, my timing is on point.
It is.
Right?
It is. Listen, it was so good.
I miss my calling.
She had everybody laughing, but also, it was very engaging. It was very insightful.
Right.
I was not as funny.
I told her this writing the speech. I was like, I don't feel like you're very funny in this at all. Like, we're usually, like, yucking it up, and I don't feel like you're very funny.
I wasn't, but I felt like it was a very serious matter.
Oh, God. Here we go. No, I'm just kidding. Here we go with the seriousness.
Hi, this is the...
She was seriousness, I was shenanigans during our talk. So, it was really good. It was a very important, if you don't know, it's about rethinking race. So, if you want to follow the Picha Kucha Facebook page and take a look, everyone's speeches are up there. And
it's Picha Kucha Akron.
Yes.
And so, for people who don't know, Picha Kucha means chit-chat in Japanese.
Right.
And it's kind of like... I call it TED Talks on speed. It's 20 slides, 20 seconds.
Yes.
And it's different topics all the time, but this one was around rethinking race. And yeah, it was all
good.
the speakers. I would highly recommend listening to every single speech. Like, take time, sit down. You know, what I said on mine was grab your favorite beverage and
just watch them.
Yeah, they were so good.
And so then, good. What else? Was that it?
Yeah, that was enough, though. Oh, Reflections is going amazingly well.
It is.
That's just an awesome group.
It is.
So,
okay, into today's topic.
Yes.
So,
I think maybe I'm avoiding it.
I think you are, too. Because we've had about 10 minutes of Picha Kucha.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, chit-chat. We've had, like...
Oh, I was like... Did we?
My timing was off. No,
my timing's probably off.
But so today we are discussing the question, is love enough? And the reason that we're having this discussion is because Kat found this really cool...
I wasn't sure what you were going to say. Because Kat has problems with love.
Why would I say that? Hang on one second, guys.
Starbucks to start for you today.
I have an online order for Kat with a K.
Kat with a K.
I don't usually say online. Usually I say mobile. Because that's what they say.
They do. Mobile.
Yeah. Okay.
You have 2 grande long shot Americanos.
That's it.
We'll see you at the window.
Thank you.
Oh, she didn't sound very happy. Shh. She didn't sound as happy as they usually do.
No, usually they're really super...
Okay. So the reason that we're discussing today whether or not love is enough is because Kat found a really cool infographic. And it says, love is not all you need. You need mutual respect. You need support. You need trust. You need boundaries. You need people to be there when it matters. You need space to grow and acceptance when you do. You need people to show their love in a way that you can understand. So what was it about this that kind of stuck out to you? Because I know it stuck out to me.
The space to grow and the acceptance when you do, I think was the biggest one for me, where I was like, whoa, because I think a lot of times when we do grow, people don't.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Have a good one.
You too. Thank you. Okay. I think a lot of times it is really hard for people to accept when a person grows, and because we change. When we grow, we change.
Absolutely.
So I think, and I do think that it's true that sometimes, and I'm going to talk more romantic relationships, but this is true in friendships too. Is this the right one? Did you
Yes.
look? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when you change, the person that you fell in love with is a different person now.
Right.
And I think that is understandable, but I think if we go into it knowing that probably the person that you fall in love with they're going to be evolving. And it's that giving them room for it.
My brain is going all over the place.
Okay.
So no filter. Because I think that the first thing we have to do is define like what love means for us. Like even in like romantically, let's say for instance you do love a person and they change and they grow and they adapt, and you decide that I understand this person and this change and this adaptation that you've made, but I don't necessarily, it doesn't align with what I desire to have. So like I can love you, but I don't necessarily want to not accept the change, but maybe I don't want to make that change a part of our, you know what I'm saying, relational interactions anymore.
Yeah. So I guess it would depend on how they grow, right? Because I've had relationships where they've grown in a way that I felt very you're right, it wasn't in alignment. I think I can divulge like some of it without divulging too much. They were into, I'll just say, personal development that was in my opinion became what's that? I want to say vulturous, where they were part of a organization that was like just basically making them feel sick so that they needed to... Huh?
Like a cult?
I didn't want to use that word, but that's what I thought it was.
That's what it sounds like.
Yes. Okay. That's exactly what I thought it was. So for me, you're right in those terms. So I was speaking through my lens. So thank you for for helping me see that. Because I was speaking on my lens because, I know for me I've grown and changed, and that has impacted my relationships. But I've also been in a relationship where someone else has grown, and that was the path that that he wanted to go down, and he felt good going down it, and as far as I know is still on that path. And right.
And I don't think that misalignment always has to mean that we don't love the people. Do you know what I mean? It just means that the type of love has maybe changed a little bit. I know that I recently experienced an interaction with somebody who I love very much, but this interaction was just confirmation that I will never love them in that way. Do you know what I mean? Like this love is okay for us.
Do you think never?
Absolutely. I know never.
Okay.
I know unequivocally, without a doubt. Okay. Like only Jesus would be able to come and be like, you better do this right now. Okay, and my Jesus doesn't do that.
Okay, sorry, I went somewhere else because I was thinking about the word I thought it was unequivocally.
Unequivocally. Let me see.
I knew it. So that's what I was gonna say. You guys are about to see a Cat and Brenda moment. This is what we do. We love words, and when something is...
Why is all of this confusion happening on your phone screen?
So
where's Google?
We'll just go down here on I just bring that up.
Oh, I never bring up anybody's browser. Like I always Google. Like you never know what's going on there.
Well,
only because I've done it on someone else's phone before. It was like,
oh, here you go.
Okay,
can you need your passcode? Yeah. Okay, so that's fine. The never thing, that's good. I just...
You want to challenge it. Well, go ahead.
I do. No, I think that what if that person grows in the way that is in alignment then and comes back in?
Nah. I don't.
Okay. and I understand that. I do.
And only because I think that there are occurrences in our relational interactions that can happen that completely change everything on a dime. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I do know that I don't think I'll ever see that situation in the same light. And on top of that, I don't think that I'm supposed to. I feel like that relationship in that sense of what it was has already run its course. So I feel like I've already received the confirmation, and that's why I can confidently say never, because I don't believe that it's supposed to go that way.
Okay. Fair enough.
You still want to challenge it?
No, I don't. No, actually, I'm thinking about one of my own that I feel very similarly to. So I think it's so I'm understanding. I'm
and you're right. It's unequivocally. Unequivocally.
This is what we do, you guys. Is it Cully or just Clee? You know what I mean? Like Cally or just CLY? What's happening? Oh, she's going to say it?
Yeah.
What's happening? Somebody's calling.
She's talking. Oh, it was connecting the phone. Never mind.
How to pronounce?
Yeah, she was saying it, but it's not coming through your radio.
Oh, okay. So if anyone knows how to pronounce unequivocally, this is the nerdiness that happens when we are creating workshops, when we are doing contracts.
Unequivocally.
So from now on, I'm going to be like, you know what? Unequivocally, I agree. See, I am funny.
You are. I know you're funny. You weren't funny in that speech, though. I was like, geez, what's happening here?
All right.
But
we digressed.
We do. We did. We have digressed.
We have. I said I digress in the speech. I really didn't digress. It was really just a couple of...
Stop avoiding the topic at hand.
Okay. All right. What's love got to do with it?
Ooh, what's love got to do? Okay. Love has... So basically, we're both saying, no, love is not enough.
Right.
Not enough, depending on what the enough to. I feel like that's an incomplete statement. Is love enough to do what? Is love enough to stay together as a relationship, as a couple? No, absolutely not. Is love enough to maintain steady interactions and contact? Sure, love's enough to do that.
I don't like that truck in front of us.
Why?
Look at his license plate.
Are you listening to me, ma'am?
I wasn't. I was so look at his license plate. It says Lucifer.
Well,
and the other stuff in there.
Right. Let's just go.
Okay. Sorry. I was not paying attention.
I cannot deal with you this morning. So
don't take me to pharmacy before in a bit anymore. Before
ever again. So
no more pharmacy on Friday nights.
If people are listening who are watching who've never watched this before, they probably think we're nutcases. Go watch other episodes.
All right, I'll get on. I'm on.
Okay, so I was saying that I don't think is love enough is a complete statement.
Is it enough for?
Is it enough to do what? So
right.
I think it depends on what we're trying to figure out. So if we're talking about romantically, is love enough to sustain a romantic relationship? My answer is no.
I agree.
Do you know I used to think it was yes? I used to be like, love can overcome everything. If you truly love somebody, you will work through it.
And that's what we're saying. That's where the emotional intelligence comes in.
Absolutely.
Because one of the other things it said on that list, and I think maybe we could even go down that list a little bit, but one of the other things it said on there was about the
mutual respect, support, trust.
No, I was actually trying to remember where we were driving and where I might turn around up here.
Oh.
So that's where I lost my train of thought. So, no, it said that... Yep, go ahead, keep going. I forgot it now. I am not firing on all cylinders today.
Yeah, I don't even know where we were going. Wait a second. So, I do want you guys to join in and kind of let us know, what do you think about this specific topic? Because like we said, as it pertains to emotional intelligence, I can think back to times before I had made a conscious decision to develop my emotional intelligence, and that was during the time that I felt like love was enough. Like, if you love somebody, you are supposed to endure, and love is painful sometimes, and you should, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah. And that kept me in an abusive relationship for 7 years. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right. And I think the there's one of the, let's go down the list. Can we do that? Because there was something on there.
Down the list of that one? Or
yeah.
Okay.
It was about speaking the same language. That one, to me, I think once I've realized, because there's a thing called, if you're not familiar, there's a thing called love languages. And I would highly recommend taking it. There's a quiz online, a free quiz online. Take that quiz, find out what yours is, what even, it doesn't even, I mean, your significant other for sure, but also even like in partnerships, like our business partnership and our friendship, you know, I know 100% unequically that we score very low on gift giving.
We did. Mine was 0.
Mine's 0. And but I know that too only now because I know you know how to look for signs of what the love languages are. Right. And you and I, like, birthdays come, we're like, happy birthday. You know what I mean? So it's like, we're not.
Give me a nice happy birthday on Facebook, and it's sweet and personal, and I'm like, oh my God, this is like the most beautiful gift ever.
Because yours is words of affirmation. Right. One of them. Yeah.
So yeah, and I think that there is a dual responsibility that happens once you learn like someone's love language, because not only when you truly, I believe, this is my opinion, when you truly love someone and you are trying to make a relationship work, then not only do you want them to speak your love language, but you might want to make sure that you're speaking theirs as well. So just because you scored 0 on gift giving, if you're in a relationship with somebody who scores much higher in gift giving, then you're going to have to consciously work to kind of bridge that gap and figure out what kind of gifts can I give, what can I do to make sure that they're receiving in a way that
and receive their gifts in a way. So it's actually, that's one of the things with my ex-husband that I realized he does score very high on it. I'm assuming he's not, we didn't take it. I didn't find this until afterward. Right. But I was like, oh, he, like, all those years, like, I'm like, literally, I'm Christmas Eve. I'm like, I don't know. I'll be right back. You know? And he's like, you've known all year. But that's just, I'm like, I know, but this is just what I do. And for him, that meant that I didn't care.
Right.
And I didn't understand that. And then he would, like, go to, like, Five Below and get me, like, all these, and I'm like, why are you buying all this junk and bringing it home? Because that was his
crap.
Right. I'm like, it's all gonna break. This is dumb.
But he was
that was his love language. And I'm like, wow, that's like when a animal brings you, like when a cat brings you a mouse and you reprimand them for it. That's a gift.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've never had a cat bring me a mouse, but I've seen it on TV.
Yeah, that's a gift.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, that's what I was, like, poo-pooing on his gift giving. Then I had to feel like crap.
So that's you need people to show their love in a way that you can understand.
Yes.
And I completely agree with that. Like I said, it becomes like a mutual kind of thing.
It does, and I think there's some compatibility in there. I think that when, to me, the emotional intelligence came in when I was able to discern very early, you know, like in talking to people, we'll just say it, you know, with the dating and that kind of thing, where I can pretty quickly go, yeah, we're not compatible.
Right.
And I don't go, well, maybe, you know, I'm not like looking for the silver lining. I'm not, and I think part of that comes with knowing yourself as well, and being happy with yourself, and not trying to.
Oh, I agree.
Like force something that isn't there,
and knowing exactly what you want, and knowing that there doesn't have to be a compromise. Like, a compromise to a certain degree, but knowing that your non-negotiables do not have to be compromised.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
That's why they're non-negotiables. So
right.
I think that a lot of the time for me early on, when it came to like love and dating and all of that stuff, I would start to waffle on my non-negotiables, and I'm like, then that's not what they are. Like, you need to figure out exactly what you want and stand firm in that. And now I am, and like you said, it helps you to weed out people during this whole dating process, because I think people assume that just because they're nice or just because you're nice, then you automatically should want to date them. Like, I hear guys a lot of times go, women don't want good guys, they want bad guys. And I'm like, no, people just want who they want, no matter what that is.
Right.
And just because you're a nice guy doesn't mean I'm gonna necessarily want to talk to you. You still might not be compatible. There still might be compatibility issues.
Yeah.
So the other one was, you need space to grow and acceptance when you do.
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about that, because that could be that could go one way or another, depending on if the growth is then in alignment. If it becomes a non-negotiable, or it becomes a one of, if it's out of alignment with who you are, with your non-negotiables, then it might be that you've changed and parted ways. So if anyone follows Esther Hicks, one of the things that they say when it comes to relationships and marriages is that they think the vows should go, I like you pretty much, let's see how this works.
That is funny.
Yeah, and mind you, Esther Hicks was married to Jerry, and they had an amazing relationship. But anyway.
Jerry, somebody we know?
Jerry Hicks. No.
Okay.
This was all
like Seinfeld. No, but no, that is really true.
Did I say Esther or Abraham? It was Abraham Hicks. Abraham says that. Okay, go ahead. We won't go into all that. It's too woo-woo.
It is. But I forgot what I was about to say. Okay.
I like you pretty much. Let's see how this goes.
Oh, and that's what I was going to say. I also think that sometimes there can be too much of an emphasis on love, like leaning to that mindset, because I love people who I absolutely cannot stand, or who I can't stand to be around, but I love them very much. So also, going back to, just because you love somebody doesn't necessarily mean that you're compatible with them.
Right.
So like she said, like, I like you pretty much right now, and that that could change later, depending on how you grow and how I grow, and whether we grow together or apart.
Yeah.
Do you think that people should make a conscious effort to grow together when they're in a relationship, so that they don't grow apart?
I do. I think that's a healthy approach. I definitely think that's a healthy approach. And I know in the one that I was speaking of, I specifically was not supportive, because I did some research on it and felt like it was
a cult.
Yeah. I'm trying not to say that word.
I'm sorry.
That's, but that's.
Is that a bad word?
It's not a bad word. I don't want to.
You don't want to define it as something that you're not sure
no,
about.
you know what it is? I don't want to be judgmental of this person because that's the path that they've chosen, and it was very rewarding for him. It was it was part of his path, and he needed to go down that path. But again, it wasn't in alignment with me, so I don't like how judgy it sounds.
Okay.
Because I want to, and I do think that we were very adult about ending things, and we were like, we're not compatible,
right?
And this was after like a year and a half. It was pretty but we're like, yeah, guess what? I think we're
gonna go ahead and part ways here.
Yep. And we still love each other dearly, and are not compatible.
I think that is so mature, like to be able to do that and maintain a friendship. I actually have a friend in my life like that, and we were having a conversation the other day, and we were talking about going on a double date, and Marche was like, are you talking about going on a double date with him and somebody? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, but y'all used to date. And I'm like, yeah, but we don't. He's like a brother to me at this point. Like, we're not. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think I'd do that. I don't think I'd do that. Only because I think it would make the other people feel uncomfortable.
Do you?
Heck yeah. Wouldn't you?
No. I've been in situations like that, and I've gone on like double dates with my kid's father and his girlfriend, or we've all gone out to dinner together and had a really good time, and there was no I feel like if two people genuinely, honestly, truly, and I know that I'm a bit of a pioneer in that, but I feel like if two people genuinely, honestly do not want to be together, then there is no issue and there's no problem. There's no discomfort.
Yeah. I
think most people feel like you do. Need to be you need people to be there when it matters.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is what I call my soft place to land. To me, that is my non-negotiable. I need a soft place to land because I don't ask very often for help.
Right.
I do kind of go inward and try to handle things on my own. So when I do, I've experienced, that's been one that I've experienced very early on. Like, I can tell this won't be a soft place to land. There will be judgment. There will be, I'm not I'll beat myself up enough. I don't need somebody else to beat me up. Do you know what I mean? Like, kind of kick me when I'm down. And I think some people look at that as a way to, like, they're like, but I was just trying to help. I was trying to get you. I was trying to motivate you. Some people genuinely maybe are motivated in that way, and that's why they try. That's their love language, I guess. They're going to try to motivate others in that way by saying, like, get up, I can't even think right now what it is, but get over it. It's not that big of a deal.
That right there that's a trigger for me.
Get over it.
It's not that serious.
Oh,
it's not that. Don't tell me what's that serious to me. Right. And like, oh my God, like that's for whatever reason. And I probably should dig into that a little bit. But anytime anybody says to me, it's not that deep, I probably spaz out.
You tell me it's not that deep.
I don't.
Not in.
Oh, I'm like, wait, do I?
Only in like when we're like
joking or whatever. Yeah. Okay, yeah. But no, like I've had people like I'm upset about something, or I see you. This is a good idea because we know we get good reception on this road.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is a huge trigger for me. It's not that deep, and I remember like my daughter getting to a point to where she's old enough to feel like she can talk back a little bit, and that was her go-to phrase.
Oh.
She almost ended up without no teeth in her mouth. I was like, let's not say that to mommy anymore because mommy will knock your teeth down your throat.
No, she won't.
So,
my mom used to tell me that too. She'd knock my teeth down my throat.
Yeah, it's a thing.
She said, well, I know
I've never had to do it, but hey, that threat does something. The whip the kids into shape.
Yeah. So my mom told me, she would say, you're pushing your luck. And I remember one time I said, no, I'm not. I'm pulling it. I think she did knock my teeth out.
I was going to say, I would knock your teeth out your throat. That is so funny. Were you that kid?
Oh, I was. Oh. I'm telling you, I got really lucky with Trev.
Oh, God.
I was scared. Because I'm like, if paybacks are hell, I'm in big trouble.
That is so funny.
I mean, I literally said that for years. I didn't want kids for a while because
of that reason. She was like, I sucked as a kid, so I don't want any kids.
I apologize regularly to my parents for what an asshole I was as a teenager.
Okay, so the next one is you need boundaries.
Yeah, we did a whole show on that. So I think that's something,
So for anybody who just joined, we're talking about why love isn't all you need and what other things that you need in addition to fuel your love.
Yeah. So I think go back to the boundaries. That ended up being 2 episodes even.
It did.
Mm-hmm. Or was it a series?
I was going to say, no, that was a series. It was like 4 episodes.
Yeah. So boundaries. Yeah. So we don't even want to, I don't even know that we want to, yeah. You have to have them. I think we could just say yes and then go watch those episodes.
You need trust.
You do need trust.
So do you feel like this is a common thing, like in the dating field? Do you feel like once trust is lost, that's it? It can never be regained?
No, I think it can be regained. I know people, like I've heard the phrase once a cheater, always a cheater.
Right.
Those kinds of things. No, I mean, I have changed as a human being. Why couldn't someone else? And I think going back to your point of growing together, I think if there is a conscious effort, now for me, I'm, thinking specifically about if there's been some infidelity, I think if you get help, you work together, you really work. I do think that relationships can bounce back from that. That said, it has to be both people working. It has to be, you have to, I think it takes a lot of work, and I think it has to be earned back.
I do too. And I think that in my experience, that's what I've seen a lack of. I believe that, it requires probably even more work on the person who perpetuated the infidelity.
I would agree.
And
because why did I do it? What is there in me that I am seeking something outside of this relationship?
And oftentimes I think they feel ostracized, or you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you just going to keep talking about it? Are you just going to keep? And it's like, for a little bit, like we have to talk through this to work through it. And I think most people who cheat or do whatever it is in whatever situation, step out or cause whatever it is that causes this detachment of trust, in my experiences, they never seem to want to do the work. Like, they just want you to get over it. I won't do it anymore. Get over it.
Yeah. So, okay. So you said your trigger word or phrase was kind of the get over it thing, or
not really get over it, just because get over it really doesn't bother me very much. It's not that deep.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because those are very different for me.
Okay.
Those are 2 very different, you know what I mean, very different phrases.
And for me, they sound similar. They sound like just dismissive.
Right.
But I think both people, I think the person who it was, whatever it was, whether it's infidelity, I think, it can be, I've seen addiction happen, things happen with that. And I think that there has to be, the person has to forgive and not continue to bring it up, and throw it in their face kind of thing. Right. But also understand, to me, what I literally saw was an image of skating on thin ice.
Yes.
And there being a crack in the ice, and that whatever happened there, there's that crack there, and you have to be careful going around that. And if you don't acknowledge that crack is there, and it could give at any time, from other triggers because of what the person that received it kind of went through that. So I think it's an ongoing. I honestly don't think that some of those things, depending on how bad it was, I don't know that you ever totally get over it. I think it's something that you have to consciously work together as a couple to make sure that it doesn't go back there, and check in with each other and be like, are we good, and that kind of stuff. So
hi Pooh, hi Alicia, good morning ladies.
Good morning.
And I agree, and I think that also, I think it's very important, again, playing back into the emotional intelligence aspect of it, that instead of that you know if you can't get over it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been in situations to where I'm like, I will try to work through this, I will try to trust you again, and the other person may try as hard as they might, and they may do all of the work, and still in the end I'm like, you know what, I'm sorry, I just can't get over this. I can't get past it, we're gonna have to part ways. And it took a long time for me to not only be okay with that, but then to not be like, oh, you made them jump, because that's usually what they go, well, you made me jump through all of these hoops and blah 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 whatever. And it's like, no, you needed to figure out what made you do that, so maybe you'll be better for the next person or whatever. I'm just telling you that there's no point in me putting you through this when I know that I'm not going to get over it, and I'm just going to be difficult from here on out. So
I think it's important to know, like, both people to take ownership of their part in it.
Absolutely.
And that's really, to me, what a successful relationship looks like, is that both parties are taking ownership for their own development and shortcomings, maybe acknowledging them, not making excuses for them. I'm
so glad you said that, because I think that in this culture of victim shaming, it's making harder for even victims to take responsibility. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It might be a hard thing to hear or a hard thing to listen to, but I know that in any situation, the only thing that I can consider is me. Like, I can't, you know what I'm saying? So I have to figure out, not saying that I did anything or didn't do anything that would cause somebody, that would justify somebody doing something to me. But I do have to accept and acknowledge if there's something that's not in alignment within me, what made me allow it, what made me, do you know what I mean? So I have to still dig inside and figure out what's going on.
And I think there's a difference between shaming and taking accountability for where there could be improvement. And just full disclosure, this is something I'm exploring right now. You know this, that I had a situation where I could potentially be in the bargaining part of grief. Because I'm taking accountability for how I could have shown up differently for this person. And I'm talking to a therapist friend, he said, could this be bargaining? And I said, let me entertain this, and I am going to be talking to a professional about it. But I think,
he was probably like, well, I am a professional, but okay.
Right. And this was just like a short conversation.
Yeah.
No, he's fantastic. But it was very much like, it was something I hadn't considered, because really what I was trying to do was sit in the pain, is what we teach people, sit in that pain, and that's okay, and it's okay, it hurts and it sucks, and that's all right. And then I wanted to look at it objectively, and I really felt like I was looking at it objectively, and I still kind of do. And it could be a part of bargaining, potentially. But we'll see.
It's back to that whole yes and thing. Like you know what I mean? We've been talking a lot about accepting the dualities in a lot of these situations, and the fact that it could be this, yes, and it could also be that as well. And the best thing that we could do is be mindful.
Maybe something good comes out of the bargaining stage of grief.
Absolutely. I mean, what we do know is that nothing happens in our minds and our bodies that are not for a reason, that are not to, you know what I'm saying, prompt change or to make us notice things. Exactly. Next is, you need support.
For me, it kind of goes back to the soft place to land. I'm like, ooh, you're not liking this one at all.
I don't, because I think that if you're not careful, support can become enabling. So I think it's very important that we are emotional intelligence, that we know ourselves in a way that we know that what I'm looking for is support. I'm not looking for somebody to enable bad behavior, or do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So support, yes. Enabling, no. And I think there's a fine line, and I think it takes for both people to be mindful of that, and to know that just because somebody is not necessarily showing up in a way that you would like, again, maybe that's something that you maybe should look at and be like, what is it that I'm expecting, and why am I expecting this? So I just think support is a very broad.
It is very broad, and I think you're right. It could turn into enabling. It could turn into codependency.
Yes.
And I think that, for me, we've talked a little bit about in one of our workshops. I think it is the Healthy Boundaries workshop, where we talk about interdependence. That's really the healthiest form, and that's where you and I joke a lot about being codependent, but I really do think we're interdependent. I really do. I think
I think we're both. I think it's a yes and thing. In some cases, I think we are very codependent. Like, even, I'm gonna be really transparent here. When we show up at like events, like even if it's like a work something, if it's something for work, one of us, we don't like to go in alone. And I can go places alone by myself. I don't have an issue with that. I can go out to eat by myself. I've gone to the movies by myself. It's not a huge deal.
Right.
But if we're supposed to be somewhere together, I'm like, okay, I don't want to walk in without you. I'm just going to sit in the car and I'm going to wait.
Yeah, and I sat, and last night I did. Well, I think for me, I feel like that's more of a united front thing. I don't know if it's that I don't want to walk in.
With me, it's not. It's that I don't want to walk in without you. So for me, it's definitely a codependent kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we need to work on that?
Nah, I'm cool with it. Because I know that in every other, and I know that I will, like the one that we had, that, you know what I'm saying? You were like, no, go ahead and go in. And I'm like, but I don't want to. And I did not want to. And I did. And I was fine. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, no, I think I'm cool with it. It's just a little bit of a,
Yeah.
Last is you need mutual respect.
Yeah, I mean, I think
that like goes without saying.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things we talked about in our talk. I mean, well, mentioned in our talk. It's kind of hard to go into detail about anything, but we said, you know, that's what we're looking for is respect. I mean, I think, I don't know. What do you think about, because we talked about trust being earned. Do you think respect is earned?
I do, but I think that the respect thing, I think in order for me to date anybody in that kind of way, I have to respect them already. Maintaining that level of respect is, you know what I'm saying?
So you go in with a certain amount of respect.
Right, like I wouldn't date you in any kind of way if I didn't respect you. So I'm going in.
So I think you should be careful saying you, because people might think that you're meaning me. Just putting that out there.
Anyone, I don't date. Not you, not Kat. Anyone, I don't date anyone who I don't like. I won't even go on a date with somebody if there's not a level of respect. Even, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then going into a relationship, I have the respect going in. What I found is that in my previous relationships, maintaining the respect has always been an issue.
Okay.
Because I was going to say something that I would only say to you, but it's maintaining the respect has been an issue.
So, yeah, and I think, like, for me, I feel like I respect all humans, all people, I like, on some level, but there's a different, like, level of respect that you would have to go into a friendship. There's a different level of respect for a romantic relationship.
Like honoring somebody. Do you know what I mean? I think respect is like the foundation, and then as you develop a relationship, it moves into honor.
All right. I think I can subscribe to that. I
can
feel
you?
think I can.
I don't even know. I'm sorry, y'all. I haven't been reading no comments. So, I don't know. Talk to us. Let us know what you think. We still have people on. But, I don't know. This has definitely, because we're both in a place to where we're, like, single but dating, and just trying to figure out as far as what people think about love, what people think about relationships, what people think about those connections that we make with one another,
right.
Like the unions that we form with the opposite sex or the same sex.
Romantic relationships.
Romantic relationships. There you go. I'm like, hold on.
But I also think that it is friendship as well.
Well, yeah, because I think all the ships mirror one another. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. All of the ships, if you friendships, partnerships, kinships, you know what I mean? All of that stuff, they mirror and they require the same things in order to maintain or to find exactly what lane they belong in our lives. So understanding that is important.
It is.
So we have this thing called the basic rights in a relationship. The right to receive goodwill from the other person, the right to receive emotional support. I really don't like this.
Yeah, that might have been the one that I said I didn't like.
I don't like this one. Yeah. It sounds like an energy vampire. Like they're just receiving everything. It doesn't say anything about nothing you got to give.
Yeah.
Let's try the other one. Things we say in healthy relationships.
Maybe. Well, let's look at it. I just kind of...
You just found some stuff. I was like, oh, I'm going to download this. No,
Screenshot.
It says, I see them for who they are now, and it's something I'm consciously choosing to be in relationship with. I like this.
That's one I like a lot.
So, we've talked about this a little bit. We're a little bit over, guys. We love y'all. We're just going to keep rolling because usually we would say bye to y'all and probably turn the camera off at this point and keep talking about this.
We would. You're right.
So, we're just going to keep the camera rolling. This one might go a little bit long. Thank y'all for joining us if you have to leave, but we're just going to keep it rolling. We're going to keep talking.
Yeah, because I feel like this one takes it a little bit further.
Right, because even with this, I've been talking about, for whatever, well, Mercury's in retrograde, but people from the past keep popping up.
Okay, yeah.
And the question that I have to ask myself is, me being who I am now, would I date who you are now? Like, can I put the love that I might have from you from whatever interactions that we had in the past to the side? And if I met you today as you are and as I am, would I date you? And that question has been no with everyone. And it makes it very easy to be like, I love you, but I think that this friendship space that our relationship is in is good. So, yes, like you seeing them for who they are now.
And I think that is also, for me, I like... This was a few years ago, and I'm so glad that I'm not dating somebody's potential.
Right. I ain't got time for that. Anybody got time for that?
But I did for a long time. I see.
Me too.
So, not dating someone's potential.
I think women do that a lot.
Yes. Which becomes enabling. But, so not dating someone's potential. And what was the other thing? Just, understanding, people are... I'm gonna turn. I think. Hopefully the light turns. Yeah, I'm gonna. Sorry, person around behind me.
Lord!
I changed my mind.
He's trying to kill me, y'all.
Not. Promise. No, I think. Going. Okay, there's a flaw. A flaw is not a red flag. A flaw is not not looking for perfection and really understanding. One of the things that I always say is I'm not looking for perfection because I can't offer it.
Right.
So genuinely saying, okay, I see this quote unquote flaw or quirk or
I think we instigated a pink flag rule.
Yes, we did.
Here very recently, we started going, like I said, we're both kind of dating, and I'll be like, well, he kind of did this thing, and there was this, and she'll go, oh, that's pink flag. It's a pink flag. You know what I mean? So a pink flag for us, like a red flag is, stop, pause, go, move on to the next. Whereas a pink flag is, that's something that is intriguing.
Maybe it should be a yellow flag, proceed with caution.
We like pink.
We do like pink.
Plus the pink is, it has the potential to become red. Right. And that's what we're checking for. But we're not using our reticular activating system to check for it to become a red flag.
Okay, so let's go into the brain science of that. Because I do think that it is really, really important to know that if we've been hurt, this is some good stuff. Man, I wish more people were on for this one. I don't know how many are on. I have no idea. But, so the reticular activating system, for those that don't know, is the part of your brain that scans your environment for proof that you're right. And I promise you, whatever it is you're looking for, whatever it is,
you will see evidence.
You will find proof, because your brain is an amazing machine that will do that for you. So if you've been hurt in a certain way and you're looking for signs of, let's say you've been cheated on and you're looking for signs that this guy's a cheater, you will find them.
Right.
Or, whatever it is, you will find that. So you have to be very careful that those red flags aren't ones that you have packed in a suitcase that you're bringing with you to the next relationship.
Lady, you gon' hurt your back. No, okay. That's Erykah Badu's song about the bag lady carrying her emotional baggage around.
Yeah. So so you have to be careful that with the, your brain is trying to protect you.
It is.
So it's so normal.
So that's
to
Amy
do that.
Going, remember that time?
Yes.
Remember the last dude who did this? He had done that. So we have to figure out how to listen without necessarily.
And, remembering that not to give too much of the benefit of the doubt, because it's a balance.
Or, what did you say?
It's yes and. I don't
Harmony?
know. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's finding the harmony in your thoughts. It's finding, taking the good and using actual factual information. And for me, I just had a conversation with one of my closest guy friends about this, and he was like, you just believe everything that people say. And I said, kind of like Brene Brown's husband. Like, life is better for me when I assume that people are at that. Well, it's the same for what people tell me. I am going to assume that whatever you say to me is true until I see evidence that it's not true. And then I'm like, you lied. That's a problem.
Right.
Hang on. Alicia said, usually we meet a person's representative and we respect that person. However, as time progresses and we're introduced to the real person, then sometimes respect doesn't always continue for that real person that they kept hidden from us because a difference in core values. Right. And that's what I've noticed, because I used to be very like that honeymoon stage of relationships, like when you first meet somebody, and you know what I'm saying? And I think Zinga's on right now. I was talking to Zinga about a guy that I met, and I kept saying, like, no, like, he, like, reads. Like, I'm a sapiosexual, so, like, to fight. She's like, you can't date somebody just because he reads. I'm like, no, I can. I can date and like somebody just because they read. Now, I wouldn't marry somebody just because he reads, but I can appreciate a really good conversation with a man who reads, because most of the men who I'm meeting do not.
So, going back to brain science, because I love it, if you do read the 5 love languages, which I highly encourage, this part is so like bad through here. So he talks specifically about what the chemicals in your brain that happen, and you can only have them physically for the first 2 years, and after that they start to die down.
Oh, okay.
So it's the dopamine, it's the
serotonin? No, is it serotonin?
Nope. Hold on. It's not going to come to me right now.
Okay.
But so it's but anyway, I think that's important to know that kind of stuff, and being able to see clearly during that honeymoon phase, if you will.
Yeah, and now I can. And like it's through that development of the, you know what I'm saying? Is this really? And sometimes, y'all know me, I always talk about writing stuff out. So sometimes it takes a few journalings and, you know what I'm saying? Journaling and doing all of that kind of stuff. And now even that guy who I was like, oh my God, I can see something here. I can enjoy his company and I can have conversations about the books that we both have read. And I also know that we're not going to be in a relationship, so we're just kind of cool. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So thinking past that stage, whereas the old me would have had us married with adopted children and foster kids by now. And I'm like, no, there's a whole lot of other aspects. So it's kind of like what Alicia said. I did meet his representative, and after more things started to be revealed, he's not a bad person. He's just not for me.
And I think when I hear that stuff, I instantly hold up a mirror.
Absolutely.
So I'm saying who am I represent? Like, how am I showing up as a representative of myself? And I want to make sure for me that that's not false advertising, or do you know what I mean? Like any of that kind of stuff that I'm very mindful of that fact. And also not being the person who overshares. If you want to go to our last, what were you thinking about?
I was thinking about Zinga's comment and reading it, and she says, LOL, yes, was saying that can't be standard. That can't be the standard to dating you. It wasn't the standard, but it was definitely intriguing. Very intriguing. You want to keep going, or no?
Well, it's up to you.
I don't have any being ready till 11. We're not gonna stay until 11, but I don't have any.
Yeah, I have a thing at 11 too, so we're good.
It says, I am excited to watch them grow, and I am also focused on my own growth.
Yep, I like that.
That's a harmony thing, too.
That's what we were saying. Yeah, that's what we were saying with the other ones. Oh, look at this guy pulling. That's how I want to go sledding down the. So there's Dad walking down the sidewalk. We're parked in front of my house now, and he's carrying 2 of the kids. That he's got 2 sleds, and one is laying on her back, and the little boy's laying on his belly, and they're going down the sidewalk. So cute.
Alicia said, no, because I was on the screen with so when I come back in, I can't see the previous comments.
I gotcha.
She said, I actually enjoy studying brain science. What book did Kat mention? Oh, the 5 love languages.
Yeah, the 5 love languages. It's not too much with brain science as much as it's, I mean, I recommend it, but at the beginning he talks about the brain, or the chemicals that we release in our brain. Because I argued, I was like, yes, you can, because it was a friend of mine that gave it to me years ago, and she was telling me about it, and I'm like, that's not true. You can be together for years and still have this stuff. And then when I read it, I'm like, oh, it's science.
Alicia, I think you would like Switch on Your Brain by Carolyn Leaf. We were recommending it in Bible study. I can't remember if she's been there. But Switch on Your Brain by Carolyn Leaf. Lots of brain science in there about all of this kind of stuff with the emotional intelligence and all of that stuff. And Emotionally Healthy Spirituality, which I believe you said you read already. But that's the other one, too. That's really good with brain science.
Yep. So what's the other one? Are there very many of them?
3 more.
Okay.
I understand them, but I don't make excuses or justifications for them because they are an adult capable of taking responsibility.
It's enabling.
Right. We kind of talked about that one too.
Yep.
I cannot change people. They change themselves. That's new for me. I used to swear up and down that, like, once he get a lick of me, like, girl, once he meet me and he see that I am worth making these changes, he will make these changes. How arrogant is that? Like...
Is that arrogant? Is that wishful thinking?
No, it was arrogance. It was arrogance.
Okay.
In my opinion, I don't know that the driver was arrogance. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
But in my opinion, that's an arrogant mindset.
Well, I can see it being ego-based.
I think it was a little bit more than that.
Okay.
I think it was a little bit more than that. And it created, of course, it caused all kinds of issues because then I had attached my worth to their ability to change. So then when they didn't change, it was, what's wrong with me? That he couldn't, do you know what I mean? That I couldn't make him change, that he didn't choose to change for me. So yeah, that was a problem.
So can you read that again?
I cannot change people. They change themselves.
Right. So that when we feel like we can change someone and they don't change, it starts to affect our worth. Yeah. That is really...
Because I had attached I'm like, how could he not change?
Well, and I think when so for me, like, just knowing a little bit about Al-Anon, I'm not like... but I guess if I was a member, I would probably not be talking about it because
they don't
I'm supposed to be anonymous. Anyway, I know one of the things that they do is detach with love and let go of the outcomes and that kind of stuff. And I think letting go of outcomes. Talk about that a lot. Yeah, letting go. That has been the single best mindset shift for me to get to find peace faster is letting go of outcomes.
So when you say that, and because before I learned all of this stuff, when people would say let go of the outcome, I would instantly shut down and I would go, if it were that easy, I would just do it. If it were just easy to let go of the outcome. So can you explain like a little bit like what that looks like for you? Or
yeah, so letting go of the outcome is knowing that I may have an ideal outcome. Like I would love for it to work out this way, but I also know that no matter what happens, it will be for both of our greater goods.
Absolutely.
So I think for me, the way that I first started to really learn how to let go of the outcome was when it came to coaching. When I was coaching people, I knew the path that I
for you.
You did. Because I knew the path that I wanted them to go down. And sometimes through our lens, which I'm going to be finishing up my speech for Lansing, that is all about lenses. We definitely need some time for me to show you that.
Yes, I'm excited about that.
So the lens. What was I saying about letting go of the outcome? Oh, so we feel like through our lens, because I'm like, okay, my experience says that this person should do X, Y, and Z, and they're going to have this outcome.
Right.
Well, I learned through coaching you that I couldn't, you always hear, don't block a blessing. I learned from you, from working with you on this, don't block a lesson. Yeah. Because you went down a path that you had to go down, and I wanted so badly to be like, don't do that. And it was really hard because I knew I had to let go of the outcome. And I coached you in the way that, you needed it in that moment. And it was the best thing that you could have done.
Absolutely.
So I think for me that maybe it is almost, you have to have that experience of letting go. Ooh, so maybe actively finding a situation, and maybe one that you don't have a lot of emotional attachment to, but that's what happens. We have emotional attachment to the outcome. When you can not have an emotional attachment to the outcome, that's when you're able to let go of the outcome.
That's what my letting go of the outcome looks like now. When I first started, it actually became a hyper focus on the outcome. So what I would do is I would sit, and it was almost like a chess game. I would write out all of the different outcomes that I could possibly imagine from this situation, and I would look at them all, and I would go, okay, so this is how I would feel if that happened. So I would kind of deal with however I saw that it might go.
Wow.
I would deal with all of those different scenarios, like in the moment, like, okay, so if this happened, I would feel like this, and this is, but I would get over it. And that's when I started to realize letting go of the outcome was a thing, because after every single scenario that I came up with, it was a big waste of time, because in the end I would go, and I'll be okay if that happens. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I quit doing all that work.
And I'll be okay. And I can imagine a million different outcomes and not be right about any of them.
Exactly. And that's what I started to see. And I'm like, but I realized that was part of my control issues. My needing to know, okay, this could be the outcome. This could be the outcome. This could be. And I'm like, girl, like, how much time are you wasting sitting here imagining?
I know. When I was like, I'm like, and I'm not a good, like, imagine worst case scenario, because worst case, like, people say that sometimes. I know that's actually a therapy thing where they'll say, imagine worst case scenario. I'm like, we're all dead and naked. That's bad.
We're all nakedly dead. I don't know what happened.
So no, I don't make me go there.
Like, how did you get there from that? They're like, you stubbed your toe on the bed frame, and you're like, yeah, but I got gangrene, and then and then I cut my toe off, and then it went all the way up my leg, and they had to cut off. Like, what are you doing? What's happening?
And then I tried to step in the shower, but I could only hop because I only had one leg, and I slipped and I fell and I got mad. That's why I'm dead and naked. See, you asked me to go there, and I did.
Lord, your worst case scenarios are nuts.
So don't do worst case scenario with me, but if it works for you, fantastic.
Right. So just figuring out exactly what letting go of the outcome is, and however you have to arrive at the realization that, I always say it, you have already survived 100% of your absolute worst days. You've survived it. You've been okay. And if you think hard enough about it, I guarantee you that you could find exactly why it happened. Like, what was the lesson in that? Like, the worst instances of my life, I had a conversation with somebody who I was talking about something really awful that happened to me in my childhood. And I'm like, well, but I can understand because this, that, and the other. And he was like, I don't understand that. That doesn't make any sense, because I don't understand why any child should ever have to go through that. And I'm like, and I respect you not understanding. I can respect your...
Yeah.
But for me, I understand exactly why everything that has happened in my life has happened. And I don't know. I understand it. I get it.
And I think that helps find peace, too, when you're in the middle of a shitstorm. You can go, okay, I know I'm going to be okay.
Right.
Like, this can suck, and
I'll be better for it.
And I'll be okay, and I'll be better for it. So, yeah, I think that feels like the healthiest thing ever.
This is the best one. We are two people taking care of ourselves so that we can care for each other.
Oh, that's my favorite.
That's my absolute favorite.
Yeah.
That should be like a relationship staple.
That should be a mission statement.
Yes, in all relationships. We are two people taking care of ourselves so we can care for each other.
I like that a lot. Is
Me
that the last
too.
one?
I'm going to put it on my prayer wall. I don't have a two-person people who I'm... Well, us in our business.
Yeah.
We take care of ourselves so we can take care of each other in business. And God gonna send me my boo, that we're gonna be two people taking care of ourselves so we can take care of each other one day.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm letting go of that outcome.
I'm letting go of the outcome. You can't let go of the relationship. No, you can. Whatever works. I ain't letting go of it. I'm like a dog with a bone. I'm not searching anymore, though. I think I've stepped out of that space. And I'm like, it'll happen whenever it's supposed to happen. And until then, I work.
Yeah. On you, right?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
So we hope y'all enjoyed this
really
episode.
long. This is too long, I think.
Well, it's just because we kept talking afterward.
I know, but I feel like I'd be watching it, and if I saw this and came on to watch, I'd be like, an hour and 7 minutes?
If you started and came on to watch, all of the crap that we talked about leading up until the actual topic would be enough to make you turn it off anyway.
So are you saying the fact that I avoided for the first 15 minutes?
Absolutely.
All right, I hear ya. I'm receiving that constructive criticism. I'm all right with it.
Listen, Zinga, date yourself, right?
Oh,
I'm definitely a self-dater.
Yes, I take myself on dates, and sometimes I get lucky.
We're leaving. That's it. That's it.
No.
That's it. We're done. Love you guys. Have a good day. That's a good night.